The truth about what happened is you don't know. This Austin Metcalf Karmelo Anthony situation is being used to spark a race war. Hypotheticals flying on both sides. People coming out the woodwork saying what they've had on their hearts all along about black people. Black people trying to combat the narrative by being just as hateful as everybody else. And the whole time the daddy said he don't want y'all to do exactly what y'all doing, which is make this about race or politics. If you have no idea what I'm talking about and you've been out the loop, Austin Metcalf was a 17-year-old kid who went to Memorial High School, and he got stabbed at a track meet by a kid named Karmelo Anthony, who was also 17 years old, but he went to Centennial High School in Texas. The altercation seems to have happened because Karmelo Anthony was sitting in Austin Metcalf's team tent. At track meets, schools have team tents where athletes are able to go drop their stuff off, rest, eat their snacks, do whatever they have to do in between their events. Anyways, Karmelo was under this tent. Austin told him to move, and then somewhere along the line, they started arguing, and in the end of it all, Austin ended up getting stabbed in the heart. There's more intricate details. That's the gist of the story, but I'm going to read an article. I'm going to show you what the dad had to say, and I'm going to show you the brother's account of what happened. Oh, Austin is a twin. His twin brother's name is Hunter, and that's the brother that I'm referring to. What we know: on Wednesday morning, 17-year-old Austin Metcalf, a junior at Memorial High School in Frisco, was unalived at a UIL District 11-5A track meet at Cookendale Stadium. Police said a student from Centennial High School in Frisco, 17-year-old Karmelo Anthony, stabbed Metcalf in the chest during a fight. Anthony was arrested and is now charged with first-degree unaliving. He is in Collin County Jail on a $1 million bond. More of what we know: a newly released arrest report details the interactions police had with Anthony in the moments following the fatal stabbing. According to the court document, witnesses pointed him out to a school resource officer who was the first to arrive on the scene. The officer spotted Anthony on the north end of the track. "I gave the suspect instructions to keep his hands up in the air. During this time, the suspect said verbally out loud, 'I was protecting myself,' the report says. The suspect also told the officer, 'He put his hands on me.' After the officer mentioned to others that he had the alleged suspect in custody, the report states Anthony said, 'I'm not alleged. I did it. He put his hands on me. I told him not to,' Anthony continued as officers walked him out of the stadium in handcuffs to the squad car. The report states Anthony also asked the officers, 'Is he going to be okay?' and he asked if what happened could be considered self-defense. The officers took pictures of blood on Anthony's hand as evidence. They did not find a knife on him." Witness statements. The arrest report also provides details from several witnesses about the events leading up to the stabbing. First, Memorial High School witness. A member of the Memorial High School track team told police he was sitting under the Memorial High School pop-up tent with the rest of his team. The victim and the suspect were sitting nearby. Anthony was from Centennial High School and was sitting under the Memorial High School tent. The victim had told Anthony that he needed to move from out under their team's tent, and Anthony grabbed his bag, opened it, and reached inside and proceeded to tell the victim, "Touch me and see what happens." No one really thought Anthony really had any weapons in his bag, and the victim proceeded to touch Anthony, and then Anthony told the victim to punch him and see what happens. A short time later, the victim grabbed Anthony to tell him to move, and Anthony pulled out what the witness recalled as a black knife and stabbed the victim once in the chest and then ran away, the report states. The witness did not know Anthony, but he knew he was a Centennial student. Second Memorial High School witness. Police pulled the victim's twin brother and a second Memorial High School track team member into the locker room to take their statements because it was raining heavily by that time. The officer who interviewed them noted that Hunter Metcalf was still hysterical and could not talk. "I attempted to ask them both what had happened. I could not really get anything out of Hunter, but the second witness stated he wanted to speak. I asked what happened, and he stated they were all sitting on the bleachers under a Memorial High School tent when another male, who he did not know, walked over and sat under the tent. The witness then said the victim told the male that since he did not go to Memorial, he had to leave the tent. The victim and the male went back and forth, and then the victim stood up and pushed the male to get him out of the tent. The witness had said during this time of arguing, the male was reaching around in his bag he had. It was at this time the male took out a knife and stabbed the victim and then left the scene, the report states. The arrest report also identified about 24 other students from various Frisco ISD high schools and 4 coaches who said they witnessed the stabbing. What we know: the victim's family previously told Fox 4 that the fatal stabbing happened just as it was starting to rain at the track meet. The arrest report notes that it was raining heavily by the time the police and paramedics arrived at the scene, scene and began to secure it with crime scene tape. One officer reported moving the memorial tent over the victim and the medics who were trying to save his life. The officer said he also found the bloody knife in the stands and quickly took pictures of it before the rain could wash the blood away. Another officer found the blue tarp and used it to cover the knife in an effort to preserve the evidence. Because it was windy and raining so hard, the officer also grabbed a backpack to weigh down the tarp. He didn't realize it was the suspect's backpack, the report states. The officers took cell phones from several of the witnesses. The victim's clothes and the suspect's clothes were also later collected as evidence. At the time that this happened, the brother was not able to give a witness statement, but he eventually did end up speaking about the situation twice, actually.
There was this kid, before I knew his name now, this kid was sitting under our tent at track. We asked him to move. He started getting aggressive and talking reckless. And my brother stepped in and said, "You need to move." He's like, "Make me move." Austin grabbed his backpack. The kid, I tried to whip around as fast as I could, but I didn't see the stab. But then I look at my brother, and then I'm not going to talk about the rest. So just that's just what I saw. And I tried to help him, but
it was just senseless.
It was really senseless. Really, I don't know why a person would do that to someone just over that little argument. It's just crazy in this world nowadays how people just up and do that. Like that man has a family. That man has people that care about them all the time, and he did everything for our family too. He was a strong man. He was a strong kid.
It was a really bad storm in the morning, and they had a lot of delays. And me, my brother, a couple of kids were walking back from the field house of the middle school because we attended that middle school when we went to middle school, and we were saying hello to old coaches and catching up with them. And then we're walking back to our stand where we put our tent up so all the bleachers were right there, were not wet from all the rain. We come back, we sit down, and this kid said something behind me. I've never met this kid in my entire life, never knew who he was. Said something just inappropriate and uncalled for, and I turned around and asked him who he was. He started getting really aggressive. My brother stepped in. He started being, how he always is with me, just brothers, just having my back. And things started getting more higher intensity. And the kid said some aggressive stuff, reckless stuff, and also tried to handle the problem. And
Austin was always one to step up. He always was one to step up and be the person that would do the right thing. And he was doing the right thing by saying to this gentleman that you're not supposed to be in this tent. This is because they have personal items there.
A lot of stuff gets stolen just like that, just precautions and stuff. And our coaches always told us don't let, other schools, mess with our stuff, just sit around our tent area. And we set that up for the girls' track every meet we had. So it's just he knew he wasn't supposed to be there. And it's just a tragedy what happened.
And then what happened, Austin? After your brother stepped up, what happened then?
He stepped up over there, asked him to move, got aggressive. He grabbed the bag, and then I whipped my head around, and then all of a sudden I see him running down the bleachers, grabbing his chest. He just blood rushing out. He said, he got stabbed. He got stabbed. First, I froze for half a second. I didn't know what to do. And then I saw him about to fall. I went to go over there. I grabbed him. I see.
As you can see, the brother doesn't even know what happened. He gave two slightly different variations of the story. I'll give him some grace for that because, well, it's a traumatic experience for your twin to lose his life in your arms. But he was there, nearby, and he don't even know what happened. What makes you think that your hypotheticals is right? Now I'm going to show you some remarks from the father that lead me to the whole point of this video besides actually, covering what this story is. And this is the last thing I'm going to show. If you're wondering why I haven't shown the mom speaking very much, it's because she doesn't really have anything to say besides how much she loves her son. And that's not a bad thing, but that doesn't do anything for the point of this. Only thing I will say is that she said out of her own mouth that she is not as forgiving as the father. I'm not mad at that. If somebody were to off my kids, I'd probably be very, very, very slow to forgiveness.
It's very unfortunate that this other child decided to make a bad choice that's going to affect him for the rest of his life. I have compassion for every human being. This is not, I want to make this very clear. This is not a race issue. This is not a black and white issue. I don't want someone stepping up on a soapbox trying to politicize this. I don't appreciate some of the remarks I've seen online that people say there was this fight and they don't know, they weren't there.
I want to clarify something right off the start because I've already heard some rumors and some gossip. This was not a race thing, and this is not a political thing. Please do not comment if you do not know what happened. Do not turn this into a racial thing. It was not. Do not politicize this. It's not. This is a human being thing. This person made a bad choice, and it affected both his family and my family forever.
There we have it, yo. The father is one of the 3 most traumatized people in this whole situation, and he is actually the most rational person I've seen speaking on the whole ordeal. He is 100% leaning on his Christian values. Now let's get into the meat. This is a horrible situation. A kid lost his life and a kid potentially threw his life away. This will come down to murder or self-defense, point blank, period. With everything that has gone on, of course, people are trying to start a race war, though the father explicitly states that is not what he wants to happen. What a repugnant display of white guilt. Disgusting. Austin Metcalf's father on Fox. This wasn't a race thing. I simply can't imagine being a father and going on national television one day after your son was stabbed to unaliving by a black kid to grovel like this. Utterly despicable. What is wrong with you all? I know that you guys have been dying to find a reason to start a race war with black people. And shouts to the father for letting it be known he does not want his son to be a martyr. The man is grieving. You don't know what's going through his head. Even if you've lost a kid before. Everybody feels differently about everything. Everybody copes differently. You have no idea what's on his mind. And the fact that y'all are literally berating him because of his position on a matter that involved his own son. You don't care about this kid or this family. You have other shit you're concerned with. And one of those big things is hating on black people. You want a reason to call black people out on something. Like I said, people are coming out the woodworks using this situation to say any and everything about black people because they feel like just because this situation happened, however they feel is acceptable. I don't want to live around black people. I just don't. It would be irresponsible if I had a wife and kids to live near black people. What is he talking about a wife for? If he taught his son that we're not in fact all human, Austin would still be here. With each day that passes, I get less and less tolerant. Well, hard R's are fucking stupid. So there's that. Gonna make a real effort to stop calling blacks people. Hard R's will take no responsibility. It's time for segregation again. We cannot live with these primate animals. They lack the IQ to understand that it is not okay to stab and unalive someone. Just nothing but animals. Segregate and let them unalive each other. This is just a couple, but there's a plethora of real people, of fake accounts, of faceless accounts, all types of stuff, and they have nothing to post but this. I think it's shameful that you have to wait for a situation like this to say what you really have on your heart. You freaking pussy. I'm not even mad at what people are saying. I ain't mad at the slurs. I use slurs all day long. I got a couple on my channel. You go check out the videos. But we could go back and forth all day long. It is not gonna hurt my feelings. And this video isn't specifically about all the things that white people are doing in this situation, but I will say that most of the commentary, posts, or anything like that is coming from white people speaking on the negativity towards race. I see some Hispanics in there too. Some sweaty Asian dude out there with a White Lives Matter sweater on. Again, I don't really care. It doesn't affect me in the real world. People just want to get their clicks and their views and whatever the case. They want to get their engagement up. They are engagement farming. In comparison, black people just haven't had the same type of animosity towards the other races when it comes to this situation. We're more so bewildered that you are trying to take this situation where the father explicitly states it's not what you want it to be, don't make it what you want it to be, and you're doing exactly that. You're making it what you want it to be, which is about race. You're trying to create a race war, but it's proving nothing but the fact that you care nothing about this kid losing his life as much as you try and pretend you do. Let's get away from the narratives toward the community and let's talk about the narratives being created in the situation itself, because what are y'all talking about? What are y'all doing on both sides? Whether you support Austin Metcalf or you support Karmelo Anthony, you don't know what happened. Why are you pretending like you do? And when did everybody become a lawyer? This young man was unalive because he was white. The left has been telling the world for years now that white people deserve to be unalived. The 17-year-old high school football star Austin Metcalf was stabbed to unaliving by another 17-year-old who believed the woke propaganda. Karmelo was bullied, beaten, and harassed by the white twins for a while because white girls were choosing Karmelo over them. The following week, he brought a weapon for self-defense and defended himself. Bye. Makes me wonder if this was Karmelo's introduction into a gang, you know, by offing a white kid. White lives matter. The black kid needs all the hate crime charges and bury him under the prison. As white people, we're not protected by the law like other groups, so we incur much more violence from non-whites who think they will get away with it, especially with the explosion of anti-whiteism in our country over the last 10 years. We have a long road ahead to reverse this. The story I got was they tried to jump him and broke his phone and he stabbed the twins, so sounds like self-defense. New information comes out about the black terrorist who unalived Austin Metcalf. 1. He had been previously suspended for bringing a knife to school. 2. He had no business being at the track meet. He was not competing at the meet. He was skipping school. 3. He was hiding in Metcalf's tent with a knife to avoid being caught skipping school. 4. When Metcalf asked Anthony to leave the tent, Anthony unalived Metcalf because he didn't want to leave the tent and be caught skipping. This was premeditated and he should be given the unaliving penalty. Tariq Nasheed, I'm not surprised. A suspected white supremacist named Austin Metcalf, pictured with his twin, allegedly demanded honor student Karmelo Anthony give up his seat like it was the Jim Crow era. Karmelo defended himself from the alleged threat. The Daniel Penny case set this precedent. The media lied. The Frisco stabbing wasn't about sitting in the wrong seat. Karmelo Anthony, the black teen, was stealing and rummaging where he wasn't supposed to be. Austin Metcalf told him to leave, and that's when he got stabbed to unalive him. What are y'all talking about? Nobody on either side that wants to spread these narratives has any evidence that substantiates any of these claims. Everything I just read you has not been proven. It has not been proven this was a hate crime. It has not been proven that Austin is a white supremacist. It has not been proven that Karmelo Anthony was skipping school. It has not been proven that Karmelo Anthony was stealing from the tents. It has not been proven that the twins were bullying Karmelo. It has not been proven that Karmelo got suspended for having a knife at school. It has not been proven that Karmelo was in or joining a gang. It has not been proven that they were fighting over girls. Y'all spreading rumors worse than children. Now granted, a lot of this is just to incite outrage and violence and to get clicks and views. But do you know how many people really believe this shit? I read y'all the articles, I showed y'all the videos. That is what we have. Do I feel like Karmelo was justified in stabbing Austin? At this point, no. Do I feel like Austin should have been trying to remove Karmelo from the tent? No. I still don't feel like he should have put his hands on Karmelo Anthony. One witness says that Austin touched the backpack. One witness says that Austin touched Karmelo himself. Stop creating these BS narratives. If you heard somebody say, I heard something, double check and fact check it yourself. Again, this was an unfortunate situation where a kid lost his life and a kid possibly threw his away. We don't know what it's going to be. The investigation is being done right now. If you're mad because you believe this isn't a national outrage, you're absolutely wrong. If you still got George Floyd in your mouth, shut up. He didn't die of an overdose. Even if he was overdosing, he died of asphyxiation because he had a knee on his neck. Stop the whole if the roles were reversed nonsense. The whole point of all that anyway was the fact that the cop wasn't being held accountable for what he did. This kid got arrested as soon as it happened. It's not the same. Use your brain. To everybody out there posting the George Floyd memes and just swapping the faces out with Karmelos and Austins, be for real for a second. You are not helping push the narrative that the dad wants and this not being a racial thing. Stop doing that. That's all I wanted to talk about this video, because honestly, the focus is less on the tragedy now and more so on the fact that people want to start a war. Noise often drowns out the truth. Stay diligent in seeking the truth and use objective reasoning if you're going to start stating things as fact. People try and call the most minuscule things pushing a negative narrative, and this is what that actually looks like. Horrible situation. I hope that justice is served, and that's it for me. Like the video, share the video, and subscribe to the channel. I'll see y'all later.